Awakening the listener. There are moments in life when you stop and ask yourself a powerful question. Why do I let others decide how much I am worth? Think about it. How many times have you stayed quiet when someone disrespected you? How many times have you lowered your standards just to keep someone else comfortable? How many times have you said yes when your heart was screaming no, simply because you were afraid of losing approval, love, or acceptance? This is the reality many people live in, giving away their dignity piece by piece, hoping that by doing so, they will finally be seen, finally be valued, finally be loved. But here is the truth that will shake you awake. You will never be truly valued by others until you first value yourself. Respect is not demanded with force. It is commanded through presence. And that presence begins within you. Self-respect is not arrogance. It is not looking down on others. It is not pride that divides. Self-respect is quiet, but powerful. It is the energy that surrounds you when you know your worth, when you carry yourself with dignity, and when you refuse to let anyone treat you as less than who you truly are. Without self-respect, you live like a leaf blown by the wind, at the mercy of other people's moods, opinions, and approval. But with self-respect, you become like a rooted tree, firm, unshakable, standing tall, no matter how strong the winds blow. Pause and reflect. The way people treat you is often a reflection of how you treat yourself. If you allow disrespect, it becomes permission for others to continue it. If you tolerate dishonor, you silently agree that you deserve no better. But the day you decide, enough, I will no longer allow this, is the day everything begins to change. That decision is the birth of self-respect. Imagine walking into a room with your head held high, not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you finally understand that you're not less than anyone either. That shift changes everything. People sense it. They speak differently. They act differently. And even if they don't, you no longer bend yourself to fit their expectations. You begin to live from a place of freedom instead of fear. Self-respect is the foundation of every transformation. Without it, you chase after love, success, and recognition with desperation. With it, you attract those things naturally because your energy communicates that you are worthy. And here's the most powerful part. Self-respect is not about them. It's about you. It's about the way you see yourself when no one else is watching. It's about the standards you set, the boundaries you keep, and the love you give yourself even when the world doesn't. So let this be the moment of awakening for you. Look at your life. Look at the places where you have allowed yourself to shrink. Look at the places where you have betrayed yourself just to be accepted. Then decide, no more. From this day forward, I will honor myself. I will stand tall. I will carry self-respect like a crown. Not because I am better than anyone, but because I finally understand my own worth. This is where true change begins. Not with others, not with the world around you, but within you. Self-respect is the spark that ignites transformation. And once it is lit, nothing can put it out. The foundation of self-respect. Everything in your life, your relationships, your decisions, your confidence, your happiness, rests on a single foundation: self-respect. It is the soil from which every other part of your growth springs. Without it, you build your life on shaky ground, easily shaken by rejection, easily broken by failure, easily manipulated by the opinions of others. But with it, you become solid, steady, and unshakable. Think of a house. If its foundation is weak, no matter how beautiful the walls or how expensive the furniture, the structure will eventually collapse. In the same way, if you do not have self-respect, no matter how much success you chase, how much love you beg for, or how much recognition you seek, it will never be enough. Without self-respect, everything feels temporary, unstable, fragile. But with it, you stand strong, and everything you build on top of it, love, success, peace, has a chance to last. Self-respect begins with how you treat yourself when no one else is looking. Do you honor your own boundaries? Do you keep your promises to yourself? Do you speak kindly to yourself when you fail? Or do you tear yourself down with cruel words you'd never say to someone you love? Many people demand respect from others while secretly disrespecting themselves every day. They ignore their own needs, allow their dreams to die, and silence their own voice. But self-respect requires that you first become your own ally, not your own enemy. It also shapes the way you make choices. When you respect yourself, you stop saying yes to things that break your spirit. You stop chasing people who treat you as an option. You stop lowering your standards just to fit into spaces where you were never meant to belong. Self-respect teaches you that it is better to walk alone in dignity than to walk with a crowd that dishonors you. It reminds you that loneliness with self-respect is more powerful than companionship with compromise. The foundation of self-respect also teaches you to take responsibility for your life. Respecting yourself means not blaming others for your choices, not playing the victim, and not waiting for someone else to rescue you. It means taking ownership of your growth, your healing, and your future. When you live this way, you shift from being powerless to being powerful. You stop asking, "What will people give me?" and start asking, "What will I give myself?" And here is the beauty. When you build your life on the foundation of self-respect, everything else begins to align. Healthy relationships flow toward you because people who value themselves are drawn to people who do the same. Opportunities open because confidence is magnetic. Peace settles in because you no longer fight battles to prove your worth. You already know it. So ask yourself today, what am I building my life on? If the foundation is shaky, it's time to rebuild. It's time to stop waiting for others to honor you and start honoring yourself. It's time to stop shrinking your standards and start raising them. Because when the foundation is strong, no storm can tear you down. Self-respect is not just part of your life, it is the foundation of your life. Build it, protect it, and everything else will stand tall upon it. Breaking the chains of approval. One of the greatest traps in life is the endless pursuit of approval. From a young age, many of us are conditioned to seek validation. From parents, teachers, friends, even strangers, we measure our worth by how many compliments we receive, how many likes we get, how many people accept us. But the truth is, living for approval is like being trapped in invisible chains. No matter how far you go, you will never be free, because your freedom is tied to someone else's opinion. Approval is a moving target. What pleases one person might offend another. What earns you applause today may earn you criticism tomorrow. If your sense of self is built on the shaky ground of external validation, you will always be chasing but never arriving. And here lies the danger. You lose yourself in the process. You silence your voice to keep the peace. You bury your dreams to avoid disapproval. You live someone else's story instead of your own. That is not living. That is existing in chains. Self-respect, however, breaks those chains. It teaches you that your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not determined by applause, by popularity, or by someone else's comfort. It is determined by you, by how you choose to see yourself, by the standards you hold for your life. When you respect yourself, you stop bending your soul just to fit into spaces where you do not belong. You stop begging for a seat at tables that were never built for you. Instead, you start building your own table, where authenticity is the only requirement. Breaking free from the need for approval requires courage. It means saying no when everyone expects you to say yes. It means walking away when the crowd demands you follow. It means standing tall in your truth even when others misunderstand, criticize, or mock you. And yes, it can feel lonely at first. But that loneliness is not emptiness, it is freedom. It is space being cleared for people who will respect you, for opportunities that align with your values, for peace that no one can take away. Think of the people who inspire you most. Are they the ones who lived quietly, always seeking to please others? Or are they the ones who dared to live boldly, even when the world doubted them? History remembers those who broke the chains, not those who stayed bound by them. And you too have that same power within you. Approval is temporary, but self-respect is eternal. Approval fades as soon as people change their minds. But when you respect yourself, you carry a confidence that no one can strip away. You stop living for claps and start living for purpose. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do I respect the person I'm becoming? And that is the true key to freedom. Because the moment you no longer need everyone's approval, you unlock the power to live fully, authentically, and unapologetically. That is where real change begins. That is where real peace lives. And that is the life self-respect invites you to claim: the courage to set boundaries. One of the purest expressions of self-respect is the ability to set boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are doors that decide who and what you allow into your life. Without them, you become vulnerable to being drained, disrespected, and taken for granted. With them, you reclaim your power, protect your peace, and preserve your dignity. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection. They worry that if they say no, others will leave. They fear being called selfish, cold, or difficult. But here's the truth. Saying yes when you want to say no is not kindness. It is self-betrayal. And every time you betray yourself to please others, you chip away at your self-respect. Boundaries are not selfish. They are an act of love for yourself and for the relationships that truly matter. Imagine your life as a garden. Without a fence, anyone can walk in, trample your flowers, and steal your fruit. But with boundaries, you create a safe space where growth can happen, where beauty can flourish, where only those who respect your garden are welcome. That is what boundaries do. They protect the best of you from being destroyed by carelessness or exploitation. Boundaries also teach others how to treat you. People cannot guess your limits if you never speak them. Silence often invites disrespect, while clarity commands respect. When you set boundaries, you are not pushing people away. You are guiding them on how to love you properly. You are saying, this is who I am, and this is how I deserve to be treated. And those who truly care about you will honor that. Those who don't will resist, complain, or leave. And that is a blessing, not a loss. It takes courage to set boundaries because it requires you to value your well-being over temporary approval. It means walking away from conversations that dishonor you, distancing yourself from relationships that drain you, and refusing opportunities that compromise your integrity. It means standing strong in your truth, even if it costs you popularity, comfort, or short-term validation. But the reward is priceless. Peace of mind, emotional freedom, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your worth. Boundaries are also not just about others. They are about you. Setting boundaries with yourself is just as important. It means not overcommitting to things that exhaust you, not breaking promises to yourself, not indulging habits that harm your growth. It means creating limits around your time, your energy, and your focus, so you can pour them into what truly matters. Self-respect is strengthened every time you choose discipline over distraction, alignment over compromise, and authenticity over pretense. Remember, you do not have to explain or defend your boundaries to everyone. Your life is not an open book for people to edit. You are the author, and your boundaries are the chapters you choose to write. The people who are meant to be part of your story will respect them. So have the courage to draw the line. Say no without guilt. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Boundaries are not barriers to love and connection. They are the very foundation of healthy love and lasting connection. And when you master them, you are no longer at the mercy of others. You become the guardian of your own soul. The ripple effect of self-respect. Self-respect is not just about you. It is about the world you touch. When you respect yourself, you create ripples that extend far beyond your own life. Think of a stone dropped into still water. The ripples spread outward, reaching places far away from where the stone entered. In the same way, your self-respect influences your family, your friends, your community, even strangers who cross your path. When you respect yourself, you naturally raise the standard of how others interact with you. People see that you value your time, your energy, and your worth, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. It's not about demanding respect, it's about embodying it so deeply that others can't help but recognize it. You teach others how to treat you not by your words, but by how you carry yourself. This silent teaching is powerful. It sets an example, especially for children, who often mirror what they see more than what they hear. Your self-respect also creates healthier relationships. When you no longer beg for approval or tolerate disrespect, you attract people who value you for who you are, not for what you can give or how much you bend. Boundaries become natural, communication becomes honest, and love becomes rooted in mutual respect instead of manipulation or neediness. And the beautiful part is that when you hold yourself with dignity, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage gives them permission to stand taller, to raise their standards, and to honor themselves too. But the ripple effect doesn't stop with relationships. It also transforms opportunities. Employers, leaders, and collaborators are drawn to people who radiate confidence and clarity. Self-respect speaks before you do. It shows in how you walk into a room, how you speak your truth, and how you refuse to shrink in the face of challenges. People sense it, and they respond with trust, with admiration, and often with open doors. And then there's the ripple effect within society. When enough individuals cultivate self-respect, communities change. Workplaces become healthier because people no longer tolerate toxic dynamics. Families grow stronger because respect becomes the foundation of love. Even the way we view leadership shifts because leaders with self-respect lead with integrity, not ego. One person's choice to live with self-respect can inspire hundreds of others to do the same, and that collective energy has the power to change the culture around us. Perhaps the most profound ripple, though, is internal. When you respect yourself, your inner world changes. You think differently, walk differently, and dream differently. Your mind becomes less noisy with doubt. Your heart becomes lighter with peace, and your soul becomes freer to pursue its highest calling. And this inner transformation radiates outward, through your smile, your presence, your words. People can feel it, even if they don't fully understand it. Never underestimate the silent influence of self-respect. You may not see all the ripples it creates, but they are there. In the way your children learn to value themselves because they saw you value yourself. In the way a friend feels encouraged to leave a toxic situation after watching your courage. In the way a stranger is inspired by your confidence without you even speaking a word. Self-respect is contagious, and the more you live it, the more you spread it. You are not just changing yourself, you are changing the world, one ripple at a time, living authentically through self-respect. At the heart of self-respect lies authenticity, the courage to live as who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. Authentic living is not about perfection, image, or constant approval. It is about alignment. It is about ensuring that your thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony with your deepest values. When you live this way, you no longer waste energy wearing masks, pleasing crowds, or chasing illusions. Instead, you live free, rooted in truth, anchored in dignity, and guided by purpose. But authenticity is not always easy. Society constantly pressures us to fit molds, to look a certain way, to achieve by certain timelines, to think, believe, and act according to popular opinion. Breaking away from those molds requires bravery. It means embracing your unique path, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's. It means saying, "This is my life, my journey, my story, and I will honor it without apology." That is the essence of self-respect expressed through authenticity. Living authentically also means listening to your inner voice. Deep down, you know when something aligns with your spirit and when it doesn't. Self-respect teaches you not to ignore that voice, not to betray your intuition for the sake of comfort or convenience. Every time you choose authenticity, you affirm your worth. You remind yourself, "I am enough as I am. I don't need to perform for love or compromise for acceptance." And in that moment, your life shifts from surviving to thriving. Authenticity also requires vulnerability, the willingness to be seen as you are. That doesn't mean oversharing your struggles with everyone, but it does mean dropping the facade of perfection. When you respect yourself, you no longer need to hide behind masks of success or toughness. You can say, I am still learning, I am still growing, I am still human, and strategically, it is in that honesty that people connect with you the most. Authenticity builds bridges because it speaks to the shared human experience. Living authentically through self-respect also transforms the way you pursue success. Instead of chasing what looks impressive, you begin to chase what feels aligned. Instead of seeking opportunities that inflate your ego, you seek ones that nurture your soul. You stop asking, what will make people admire me? And start asking, what will make me proud of myself? That shift changes everything. It fills your life with meaning instead of emptiness, with fulfillment instead of constant hunger for more. And perhaps the most beautiful part of authentic living is the peace it brings. When you no longer pretend, when you no longer compromise your truth, when you no longer shrink to fit small spaces, you discover a freedom that cannot be bought or borrowed. It is the freedom to be yourself, fully and unapologetically. That freedom radiates like light. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings into your life. Because authenticity always draws alignment. So choose to live authentically. Speak words that reflect your truth. Walk paths that honor your soul. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your essence, not your mask. And most of all, carry yourself with the unwavering belief that your authenticity is your greatest gift. Because at the end of the day, respect for yourself and authenticity in your living are inseparable. Together, they form the key to a life of dignity, peace, and lasting joy. And when you choose that path, you don't just live, you live fully, deeply, and authentically in the power of self-respect. As we bring this journey to a close, I want you to sit with one powerful truth. The quality of your life is directly tied to the level of respect you have for yourself. Self-respect is not a luxury. It is not an optional trait for a chosen few. It is the foundation of your freedom, the anchor of your identity, and the spark of your transformation. Without it, you bend to every opinion, compromise for every approval, and lose yourself in the noise of the world. But with it, you rise, you grow, and you reclaim the power that has always been yours. Think about what we've explored together. Self-respect begins with how you treat yourself when no one is watching. It grows when you break the chains of approval and stop living for the applause of others. It strengthens when you find the courage to set boundaries, to say no without guilt, and to walk away without fear. It expands outward as a ripple effect, shaping your relationships, inspiring your children, and influencing the way others show up in the world. And ultimately, it calls you into authentic living, where you no longer perform for acceptance but live fully in the truth of who you are. But here's the beauty. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. You don't need the world to agree with your choices before you take your first step. Change begins within you, in the quiet decision to honor yourself. That decision may feel small at first, choosing rest instead of overcommitment, speaking truth instead of silence, saying no instead of forced yes. But those small acts of self-respect build into a life of unshakable dignity. The journey will not always be easy. You will face resistance, especially from those who benefited from your lack of boundaries. You may feel lonely as you step out of the patterns of approval and into the freedom of authenticity. But remember this, loneliness fades while self-betrayal lingers. And you respect yourself. You may lose people who don't align with your worth, but you will never lose yourself again. And that is the greatest victory you could ever claim. Self-respect is not about arrogance or pride. It is about humility and truth. It is about standing firm in your values while remaining open to growth. It is about knowing that you are not perfect, but you are worthy. Not flawless, but deserving. Not invincible, but strong enough to rise again and again. So I leave you with this. Let today be the day you begin. Begin to honor yourself, to protect your peace, to live authentically. Begin to replace the need for approval with the strength of self-respect. Begin to walk in the dignity that was yours all along. Because the moment you do, everything around you begins to shift. Relationships transform. Opportunities unfold. Inner peace settles in. Change begins within you. And when you choose self-respect, you do not just change your life. You light a path for others to change theirs too. Your power is waiting. Your worth is unshakable. Your self-respect is the key. Now step into it, fully, boldly, and unapologetically.